Hello, everyone, and welcome to another movie ranking video. This is going to be a quick one for you because a bitch is tired and I got work in the morning. And I want to post this now before it gets much more later. Um, I'm going to rank all four Mortal Kombat movies. Yes, I know Mortal Kombat 2 just came out last month and it's been out for a while already. Um, but a bitch be busy. Okay. And so I saw Mortal Kombat 2 a few weeks ago with one of my friends at the movie theaters. Me and him actually saw the reboot Mortal Kombat when it first came out a couple years back as well. I actually didn't plan on doing this ranking, but after seeing Mortal Kombat 2 in theaters, I was like, you know what? Let me go back and watch the other couple ones that there were. And I got it done in like about a week or so. Um, so yeah, little quick background. I remember playing Mortal Kombat, like on the 64 and everything when I was younger. I was always more into Mortal Kombat than I was like Street Fighter. I did play Street Fighter a couple times, but I was always more into Mortal Kombat than that. Of course, my favorite character is Sub-Zero, who was kind of like me, likes the cold. Sub-Zero's my number one favorite character. Also like Scorpion. Um, Kitana's my favorite female character on there. I always liked like all the ninjas, like the multicolor ones, and like Scorpion, Reptile, Ermac, Rain. Of course, I'm more of a retro video game guy. I haven't really played too much of the newer ones, and I see like how all the updates and I know their characters look different and everything, and people change over times. Some of the characters look a lot different from how I remember first seeing them on the older games. But like I said, I'm more of a retro guy. I don't really play too much of all the newer games that are out there. Like I said, I like to stick to the old school stuff. Um, the old Nintendo games, like I said, the retro. That's mostly what I have like on my Switch. I have like a lot of the old retro classics and everything. If I did have to pick like some of my newer games that I like playing, I'll probably say like Halo is one of my favorites. I did play Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance when I was in high school. I remember playing that, going after school, going to my friend's house, and we would play and everything. And some of the more newer recent ones, I hadn't really played too much. I know I played the one that had, I think, Jason Voorhees as a character on there, like at one of my friend's house a couple years back. Um, like I said, but I mean, would I play some of the new ones? Yes, I would, because like I said, I like Mortal Kombat. I've always liked it when I was a kid. And it was good to see these newer movies come out and everything. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our ranking of all four Mortal Kombat movies. And coming in at number four, to absolutely nobody's surprise, is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Um, I remember when this movie came out, like everyone was like all hyped up for it because after the first Mortal Kombat came out a couple of years prior to this, and I remember a lot of people being really disappointed with how the movie came out. And I remember the first time I saw it was like back in grammar school when it first came out. One of my classmates actually brought in a bootleg copy of the movie. Yes, I'm that old. If you grew up in the 90s, you know the bootlegs I'm talking about. The actual VHS bootlegs. Somebody will go into a movie theater, record it on their camcorder, put it onto a cassette, and they will go sell it, for whatever. But yeah, so we ended up watching the bootleg version, and I want to say it was probably like maybe 97. I was probably maybe like a sixth grade or something. So yeah, we watched a bootleg version in school. I have no idea why the hell the teacher let us watch it for, because as you know, it's a Mortal Kombat movie, so of course there's a lot of fight scenes and all that in there. So whatever the case was, um, I was like, this is my first time rewatching it in like a couple years. I rewatched it again like maybe a few years back. One of my friends who was also a Mortal Kombat fan, he had never seen it. He never saw either of the original two movies, so I showed them to him, and so I watched it. That was my first time seeing it in like years, and I mean, it's definitely is the worst because if you've seen it, you know exactly why. Because it's not really that good. It's not good at all. Like the CGI is bad. There's a lot of the actors, none like literally only two actors from the previous movie carried over to the next one. They like it basically like watching a made for TV movie, if even that. At times it feels like you're watching like one of those fan made movies and everything. Yes, I finally got my glasses fixed, people. No more tape. No more looking like a jackass. But yeah, that's kind of like rewatching it this last couple weeks. I legit felt like, okay, is this one of those AI videos that people make up nowadays? Because that's how bad it looks. Some of the acting is very bad. Some of the dialogue is very bad. The guy that played Shao Kahn probably should not have played Shao Kahn. Probably compared to the guy that just recently played Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat 2, compared to this guy, like I didn't feel he was like intimidating at all because Shao Kahn, as you know, is the Emperor. He's supposed to be like the big bad, and in this movie, it just felt like just some random ass guy just cosplaying as Shao Kahn. Personally, I feel like there's probably a good movie hidden in there. Like the story idea is good. Um, and I would very much like to see how that movie would have got made if it was made the same way that the first one was made, like with the production and everything, and instead of just like throwaway knockoff Timu version. And I even had to double check, like, did this movie actually get released in theaters, or did it go straight to video? And actually, it did go to theaters. I'm like, ooh. So yeah, it's like I say, it's one of those movies where like can't even say it's so bad it's good, but even that's like pushing it. And it kind of sucks too because like people who aren't really into Mortal Kombat will go to this because there's like a lot of characters they don't even mention, like they don't give their names, so you probably might not know. If you didn't know who these Mortal Kombat characters are, you probably wouldn't know who like half the characters in the movie were. Like they didn't like give them names, like they didn't name Ermac or Baraka or Melina. There was like who else was there? Um, there was a few characters like they Reptile. Like if you didn't know that was Reptile, if you didn't know that was Ermac, you probably okay, who's this random ass red ninja looking guy? And you wouldn't know unless you saw like the credits and shit. But I mean, like I feel like there's a good idea somewhere in there. It just I don't know if they rushed it out. Like I said, I wasn't paying too much attention to like production and stuff back then, obviously. Like I don't know if they just rushed it out to get it out or because like um yeah, you can tell like it was just like there you go. And so yeah, unfortunately Mortal Kombat Annihilation comes in last at number 4. Coming in at number 3 is Mortal Kombat 1 from 1995. This is like probably to many people, some people actually still consider this to be the best Mortal Kombat movie. Um, it's definitely a sign of the times. Like you can tell, yeah, this is a '90s movie. And for the most part, they made it they as close to the game as they possibly could. You know, some of the CGI is like really awful because hello, it's 1995. The CGI isn't where it is today, and even that's pushing it because some of the CGI nowadays is like looks like it came from 1995. But for the most part, it's actually pretty good. It stays true to most of the games that were out at the time. A lot of the costumes were real comic accurate, like with Sub Zero and Scorpion. They had their OG looking ninja outfits on. Um, like the main trio, Liu Kang, Sonya, and Johnny Cage, their actors had like very good chemistry together. Raiden was well cast. I forgot what the hell his name was. Christopher Lambert was well cast as Raiden, as well as Shang Tsung. Um, oh my god, I completely just forgot the actor's name, and he just recently passed away. I think it was last year. He was great as Shang Tsung, and I feel bad because I could hear that on the tip of my tongue, but his name is the actor. Um, but he did really good as Shang Tsung as well. Um, the practical effects for Goro were actually really good. Sometimes I mean personally, sometimes I could prefer like the practical effects that over CGI. Like the Goro in this movie compared to the Goro in the 2021 version. I feel looks a lot more different and obviously a little bit more realistic. Well, as realistic as you can for a four-armed being, but and then you have that Mortal Kombat song, that techno version, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you've heard the song, so you know what the hell I'm talking about. And I love that song to it. And they played it in the movie a couple times. It probably maybe might be overkill, but it was good for a product of the times of the 90s. It was, we get what you get in the 1995. Like I said, it's not the best movie in the world, but it's good for what it is. It was good for what it was at the time. It is going back and watching it. It's good for what it was now. You can only do so much with the technology we had at that time, but for the most part, it did a really good job. And I also remember having the biggest crush on Kitana in this movie, so I guess that's probably why she's been my favorite female character. But yeah, I just had like the biggest crush on Kitana during the original Mortal Kombat movie. Coming in at number two is Mortal Kombat from 2021. I said I remember seeing this with my friend. We went to go see it. I want to say it was opening day when it came out. And this was like right when people were actually being allowed to go back into things like COVID, the whole COVID thing was dying down. And we decided let's go check out the movie. So we went, two guys, had a guys' night, went to go see Mortal Kombat, and it was really good. And I thought when we watched this, I'm like, part of me was like, oh, I felt like there was gonna be too much like talking and too much explaining, but it really wasn't. There's actually a lot more action than I thought there was. Seeing this again. Of course, Josh Lawson kills it as Kano. He definitely steals the show in this movie. I'm like on the fence. I know a lot of people weren't big fans of the new character, original character Cole Young as the main focus. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, isn't Liu Kang supposed to be like the main character of Mortal Kombat? So, and then I felt like he was pretty much a side character in this movie because they don't show him so like halfway through the movie, and then, yeah, that Liu Kang was always one of my favorites, and I always thought for sure, okay, Liu Kang is like the main character of Mortal Kombat, and in this film, he just felt like some random side character. Um, I also was like, okay, yeah. And they try to do like a more realistic kind of thing for this take. And for the most part, it works. But then again, I realized how realistic can you be making a movie based off a video game that has people with like superpowers and people who could turn into creatures and got laser eyes and throw fireballs. I mean, you can only get as realistic as you can with something like that. But like I said, for the most part, it works and it's really, really good. This I thought it was gonna be like I said when I went back and rewatched this, I was like, I don't know why I thought it was more of a dialogue type movie. There was more talking than there was action, and I was obviously wrong. And a lot of people weren't happy with the whole Arcana thing or whatever the hell it was called. And even the director of the second one pretty much said they were gonna like retcon that because that was like their midi-chlorians of that movie. And if you've seen Star Wars, you know what I'm talking about. And I also feel like okay, maybe they still left that out because I really don't think felt like it really added to the story that much. They could have just stuck with just the actual fighting tournament, which they did with my choice as number one, and that is Mortal Kombat 2 that just came out last month. Uh, it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I feel like there was way more action than there was in the first one. And again, Kitana, hey, I don't know. I guess I just have a theme for Kitana or whatever, but also Sonya Blade in this movie as well as the previous one. Yeah, not to sound weird or anything, but yeah. Um, of course, it was nice to see my favorite character Sub Zero in a more realistic way, like in the previous one before this, as in this one, even though he wasn't in this movie as much. And of course, as you know, he really wasn't Sub Zero in this movie. It was more like like new Cybot, like my Mortal Kombat um character. difference is a little bit off because I haven't played in a long time, and like I said, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. So yeah, I could be wrong. If I am, excuse me. I'm sorry. It was great to see Scorpion in live action as well. Like I said, they did as much of a realistic take as you can with these type of movies and what they're based off of. Carl Urban does great as Johnny Cage. He's also one of my favorite actors. And like I said, he does an amazing job. And once again, Kano steals the show again. He's definitely the VIP of these movies. Um, yeah. Um, it was a lot different, a different take on what we're used to. Like, certain, like I said, I'm not gonna try and spoil it too much. Like, the ending is actually like clear as an opening for obviously gonna be a third one. Like I said, I'm not gonna spoil who lives, who dies, or who like. Okay, this person's a good guy now, or this person's a bad. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but yeah, I would personally say that Mortal Kombat 2 is probably better than the first one, and in my opinion, the best Mortal Kombat movie that's been made so far. And I'm looking forward to whatever they got coming next. If there's going to be a third one, I look forward to seeing it. Like again, so again, once again, these are just my opinions. Um, like I said, you're welcome to disagree. I would love to hear your comment, your feedback, what you think is the best Mortal Kombat movie. Uh, what's your favorite? What's your worst? Who are some of your favorite characters to play as? What was your favorite Mortal Kombat game to play as? Um, like I said, I'm more into the older retro stuff than I am the newer ones. So yeah, and again, sorry for the quick video. It's late. I just did another hour-long video a little while ago. Just trying to get this out before, like I said, before it gets way later in time and nobody cares about Mortal Kombat anymore. So for me to get this out there. Like I said, I'm tired, so sorry for the short video. Either way, I hope you enjoy it. I would love to hear your, like I said, your feedback in the comments, positive, negative. I look forward to hearing it. So yeah, until then, remember if you haven't asked me about it, chances are I'm going to talk about it anyway.